Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
So, here, Coffee with the Maries on this beautiful January 27th, 2024. For starters, we're going to say there is no making fun of my voice allowed, and hopefully I keep it for the entire podcast. But I work in an industry, it works with the public a lot, and yeah, so I get sick a lot. Is what it is. I'll be okay. We're just going to try to keep my voice by keeping some warm coffee on it.
Yes.
So, for those of you that don't know, today is National Chocolate Cake Day.
Oh, for real? I have to go find me a piece of chocolate then.
See, you have to. It's a national holiday. I mean, there's
When's
not a
the
reason
national
to
holiday
skip
for
it.
chocolate ice cream? Because, that's my edition.
I don't have, the list, but I'll get back to you with that. We'll post it on the page so everyone knows when to bring their chocolate ice cream to the table. And also just so that everyone knows, it's also International Holocaust Remembrance Day. So, say a side prayer for all of those whose families were affected throughout the Holocaust. I know that I was watching a little bit on the news about it last night because there's still apparently a couple living survivors. So,
Oh, really?
yeah, they're really old, and I feel really horrible for them. But they've lived much better lives since then, and came gone on to be very wonderful people. So tonight okay, y'all, that's how you know how long I've been awake.
Tonight.
Today we're going to talk about events from January 21st to January 25th, as we always do. And hopefully we can get through all four of these people. We're going to work on my talking, y'all. I promise we're going to get through this podcast today. Through these four items. So, as usual, Sheena and I have not discussed this prior to, so watch those facial expressions as we talk about some current news.
Yes.
First thing. All right. And this is kind of an opinion for you, Sheena. I'm kind of curious about this for you. Because you have Adam. So your opinion on this is kind of important to me. So I'm going to start with, should parents be charged with their child's crimes?
No.
Okay. So I want you to keep that in your mind, and let's talk about this current event. All right. So, Jennifer Crumbly, age 45, sat in her trial this week to tell her side of the story about her son, Ethan. Back in 2021, Ethan Crumbly, let me get this right here. There we go. Back in 2021, Ethan Crumbly, who was 15 years old, killed 4 students and injured 7. He ended up pleading guilty to 24 charges and sentenced to life. So this was considered the worst school shooting in Michigan in history. So let me give you a little breakdown about. So, and with just that information, Sheena, do you think the mother should be charged for her son's crimes?
But the son actually did the crimes, right?
Correct, absolutely. Yeah, she didn't do the crimes. She wasn't there when it happened.
So why are they trying to charge her? Because
That's what we're about to get to, but I want to know so far if you think she should be charged, because so far I wouldn't think that either.
No, I wouldn't think if the son did the crime, he did the mistake, he actually did the action, he has to be held accountable for his actions. At this point, no, the mother shouldn't be, because unless she influenced him some kind of way, I don't think he should stand on his own actions, his own accord.
All right. So now, her and her husband, just so you know, they're both being charged separately, but they're both being charged with 4 counts of involuntary manslaughter. So that's what the charge is. All right. So what if I told you that days before the shooting, she took him to buy him a 9mm gun? Do you then think that she should be charged?
What was the reason? Did she know he wanted a gun to shoot other people?
Oh,
Or
I'm
did she
absolutely
think it
sure she didn't know that. I don't think anybody actually thinks that their kid is capable, because it's your kid, so I don't think anyone thinks their kid is capable of that kind of like mass hysteria.
okay. So she was assuming she was buying it for him for hunting purposes?
More than likely. It doesn't actually specify why she bought it, just that she bought it a few days before.
No, I still don't think she should be charged at this point
Okay.
because she had
So
no intent.
the day of the shooting,
Okay.
in school, he got into trouble because he was drawing very violent pictures of a gun that looked just like his gun with blood all over it, pictures of people passed away laying in a hallway with blood all over them. So he was drawing these very violent pictures in school, and the school called the parents and
And the
made the parents
parents.
come up there. And
Okay.
this was the day that it happened. So the parents get there and they more or less said, "Hey, our kid's fine. He's going to stay at school." Now, the school was trying to get him to take him to have him assessed. Like,
That's
"Hey,
what they
take
should have
your kid."
did.
Right. But they were like, "No, listen, our kid is fine. He doesn't need to be assessed. He needs to stay right here." And they left him at school. And a couple hours later is when the act happened.
Yeah, they should be responsible for that. That's where they went wrong.
See, and the only reason I did that on purpose, I broke it up like that for you on purpose, because you see how without all the facts, people make judgments, or people will take sides and say this and that, and then they don't know everything. And then you're like, oh, wait, once you
Yeah.
have all the facts is when people should start judging or making those kinds of decisions about what should happen.
Yeah, that's where they went the wrong turn. They made the wrong turn at because up until that point, they didn't have a tent. At that point, they had a tent because you knew that your son, and that makes me think like how many violent pictures or comments he made previously that the
Mhm.
parents knew about. So then now I'm taken back. Now thinking back y- off of that one act, you probably could, you know, you could definitely charge him for buying the gun now because now
Mhm.
I'm wondering if she knew of his thoughts before she even brought the gun.
And I'll be honest, I was a teenager that was really hard to handle. Um, and I know that about myself. Um, but I can honestly say I kept my parents very clearly in the dark for a very long time about all of the things I was struggling with. And I
Mhm.
was really good at keeping them in the dark.
Me too.
I don't think that they bought him a gun for those kinds of purposes. Honestly, I think that for the most part, they thought he was a stable kid. And it was probably like around his birthday. I don't know when his birthday was, but I would think that it was probably like somewhere around his birthday. And he was asked what he wanted. And he was just like, hey, I'm 15. I'd really like a gun. And they probably live in a town where that's a normal thing for a 15-year-old to ask for. Like
Yeah,
out here in the mountains, that's a normal thing for a 15-year-old to ask for out here.
right. Yeah, especially if
So
they're in that recreational, hobby of going out and hunting. Because I know that because like
mhm.
we started doing that with Adam, and at an early age. So I know it's possible that families out there they teach their kids, especially if they're about that country life. Like you gonna learn early how to handle a gun, how to, you know, turkey shoot or whatever they do. So like I know that. So it's like when they buy their kid a gun, like at 15, especially if it's like a rifle or something like that, you would assume it's for, their hobby, their family hobby of hunting and training and teaching
So,
their
and let
kids.
me ask you this, because I didn't grow up in a family where my parents would buy us a gun when we were 15. And I would never buy my kid a gun at 15. And that's just a personal decision because I know
Yeah.
that people make stupid decisions when they're emotional.
But see, I
Um,
did, but I took precautions. When Adam was in his hunting phase, he had uh, a hunting, you know, gun, rifle, a pellet.
did he keep it in his bedroom?
No, he
So he
only
didn't
had
have
access
access to
to.
take it to school, right?
No, we only allow him access to it when we were out hunting.
And that's kind of my point. Like, even when it just got to the gun thing, I was like, no, they should be charged. And I only thought that because if you buy your 15-year-old a gun, I feel like that gun should then go into a gun safe and should only be brought
Mhm.
out when you are
On the
monitoring that
accident,
15-year-old using it.
right?
But so you
He was
bought this
there
kid a
for the
gun
training.
and
Yeah,
you just
you
let
just
it keep
let
him in
him.
his room under his pillow? Like, I mean, was this a dangerous neighborhood y'all lived in? Like, what's going
Like,
on?
you think he would be responsible enough with it to keep it in his room? That he
And there's
wasn't
no way you thought
fascinated?
your
See,
15-year-old would
see, that
assault
would have been a red
a
flag to me
gun.
because no, actually, that would be a red flag if he wanted to keep it in his room like that or was that attached to it. I was like, well, why are you so attached to it? That should have been a red flag to the parents. Like he's so attached to this gun that he needs it in his room.
Yeah, that's but I don't know if they ever even asked because some people just trust their kids. I'm grateful that my parents didn't trust us like that. I'm grateful that my parents knew better than to trust us especially as girls,
Hmm.
growing up in their house. Because if I was given a gun at 15, I probably would be in prison for the rest of my life. Not because I would do like a school shooting or anything like that, but at 15 and a female, you're very emotional because you're going through a lot of hormonal changes during that time.
Hmm.
And, I was out there fighting other girls and, oh, how dare you look at my significant other? And, I can only imagine what kind of dumb stuff I would have done with a gun.
I
Like, it
probably
don't
wouldn't
make
be here
sense.
because I was in a bad place at 15. I might have used it on
So I
myself
was
at
like that.
15.
I was like that at about 13. Yeah, I had attempted suicide at 13, so I understand that. Which is probably part of the reason my parents never got me a gun. I never asked for one either. I just knew better. There's a lot of things my parents would do for us, but they wouldn't do that.
Yeah, I get that. But you got to know
So
your child too. So you got to know if your child start doing
I
something
don't
that's out of character, you pick up on it like
I
instantly.
don't have kids, but I need to say this. I don't care who, what, when, why, and where. Do not trust your 15-year-old with a gun on their own in their book bag.
Hmm.
And if your
I
15-year-old is
totally
able
agree
to
with that.
walk out of the house with a gun in their book bag somehow, we already
You're
have a
doing something.
problem.
Yeah, you're the problem because you shouldn't even let that happen.
And that's so good. No, that makes me feel good because that's my biggest
Hmm.
thing was like there's a lot of people that are like commenting on it, but I don't feel like they're reading the whole story.
Yeah.
Because when I read down, I was like, how could you even think the parents shouldn't be charged at this point? And I get okay, you got in a car accident, Sheena, and they charge me because I'm your friend. Well, no, that would be weird. But if the whole story was I gave you the alcohol and then let you drive home, I should be charged because it does then become part of my responsibility.
Hmm.
I did something to enable the death of someone else, etc.
Right. I mean, you should get the
So,
manslaughter because you shouldn't have never gave me the keys and alcohol because you know that
yep.
that was illegal at best.
So, and with that being said, y'all, We don't even drink, so it doesn't matter. But I was gonna say I'll never give her the keys if she drinks, but we
No.
don't drink. So,
Listen, unless I get intoxicated off of Dr. Pepper, I will be all right. You can give me my keys.
if we can get intoxicated off Dr. Pepper, I'm screwed. It's done for. I'm a Dr. Pepperholic. So,
Yes.
all right. So this next thing, and I didn't know if you knew this, Sheena. It has been so cold the last couple of weeks.
Mhm.
Well, until this week. It started to warm up some this week here. But when I say cold, like it's been like 12 and 13 degrees. So I found this out because I saw a picture online, so I had to go dig and do the research. I saw
Mhm.
a picture online of a lake full of alligators that were frozen.
Like during
And
this
I was,
storm?
yeah, it was just like the whole lake was frozen over and all these alligators were like in it. So imagine a bunch of frozen alligators, okay? Guess what? They
What?
don't die.
Oh, for
So
real?
for some reason, I mean, I think it's their skin. You know, they got that scaly, hard skin. But gators can slow down their heart rate to 3 beats per minute, put their snouts out by just a little bit above the water,
Mhm.
and they can live through the whole thing.
Well, we got some frozen alligators that's still breathing, that's ready to mess some up when they thaw out in the spring.
Listen, well, and so I think they've already thawed out now, because the temperatures have been a lot higher this week. However, all I could think is like this is the basis for one of those movies, you know, like all those movies they make,
Like Lake Placid.
right? Like it unfreezes and the alligators like their mind just turns and then they come chasing after all the people in the town and stuff
Like
like
who
that
froze the
because
lake?
I hate to be frozen. I would be so mad if I was frozen solid for or even just swimming around in ice water for 24 hours.
Right, and just knowing like you're not asleep. Like what if they like can't hibernate, like can't go to sleep, so they actually frozen watching people pass them by while they stuck. That would be miserable. Like that would really like piss them off to the point where it's like when this
Right.
fall out, I'm biting somebody.
Oh man, could you imagine just being the person to walk by that one gator as he dethaws? like
Get
like
ready to run. Like that is a whole thriller horror movie already set up, the expense. Like you gonna go to the lake, like for a picnic or something, and then you look across the lake, you see all these frozen alligators, and then the lake starts
nah.
to overthaw, and then they be like, "Oh my God, what's going on?" And then wait till like the last second to run, and the alligators just run out the lake. Gotcha, because they tripping and
That's
falling on the way
I
to the
mean we
car.
just gonna run right with it. We just gonna call it Gator Defrost 2024.
Oh my gosh, you know what? Was it last week or the week before that? So we did the I want to like peacocks. Was it the peacocks?
Oh, it was the week before last, yeah.
So now we had the peacocks that was doing the
The
most.
angry peacocks, the aggressive peacocks, and the frozen gators. Ooh,
Yup,
we could have
doing the
them battle
most.
it out.
What animal gonna be next to show out? I don't know. Goodness, what is
I
going
don't know,
on?
but I'm gonna keep looking into it, guys. Y'all don't worry. If you need to stay up to date on weird things happening with animals, we got you. You know, if
Right.
you're a peacock, you just got to go up north. They got a whole little neighborhood for you. If you're a gator, you just come down south and we'll keep you frozen every once in a while, to help you out. Um, so speaking of reptiles, though, there's a new species of reptile that has been found.
Get out of here.
And I mean, it's not like alive now. They found the bones.
Just like the other week when we talked about the new species of dinosaurs, they making up shit because they trying to rewrite history, so they just got to make up shit. I'm convinced that they making up shit now.
Listen, but if they was gonna make stuff up, I feel like they would make up cooler things.
I don't know, 'cause
Like
you
if
know how they trying to erase some of the parts of history, like they don't want us to know it happened, so they got to replace it. But the person who's
But ma'am,
replacing
that's
the history
America.
is
That's
is
America
stupid.
trying to erase parts of history. This
Yeah,
don't, yeah,
and they coming
but
up with
that's why
crazy
you don't
ideas
listen
to
to
try to.
American news. I mean, they're trying to remove stuff out of the history books in America. In fact,
Mhm.
they already have removed some stuff. So, but no, so this was in, I'm pretty sure it was Great Britain. Yeah. So in Great Britain, they found all these bones. They put them together from this fossilized rock, and they found the first, not the first in my opinion, but what they called the first flying reptilian. So
Like a
it's
flying
nothing but
lizard.
like, yeah, so it's nothing but like this big. It has a lot of the same features as a lizard, but a little bit thicker neck, like for the bone structure.
Yeah.
So they say it kind of looks like a mini dragon.
Wow. So
So I
dragons are
really wonder
real.
if they can tell through bones if it could breathe fire or not, because I really would have wanted one if they did.
Right.
And these are the little things that I think they should bring back, because they're trying to bring back the woolly mammoth or whatever.
But you know
Like,
what? Who really first did the first dragon? Like, could they actually seen the this creature right here, and he was like the supposed first dragon?
so I don't know where the dragon thing came from. I think that it came, honestly, and this is just my opinion because I wasn't around when all that was created, but my opinion of it is that they found dinosaur bones and didn't have all the answers. I think that they found like T-Rex bones, and then they also found like the wing bones from the like, so y'all, I am horrible with dinosaur names, and I really wish my nephew was here right now because he would tell me all the names. So I think they found some T-Rex bones, and then they found the wings from that like flying bird dinosaur, whatever that was. And
Yeah,
I
I
think
don't
that
know
they
neither.
thought that the two went together. And I think that's where the dragon idea came from,
Came
is they
from.
thought that both of those dinosaur bones were one animal.
Oh. But they're still
And I,
making up stuff now. Still.
oh yeah, no, all the time. Well, and this, listen, so I just found, and I didn't even know this. This was like 3 years ago, so it's probably already done now. But like 3 years ago, they were taking DNA from a woolly mammoth and trying to recreate it.
What? Girl, I just had like
And
the bomb idea just now. It's a
I
bomb
don't know if
idea.
this is going to be the bomb idea. Go ahead. Go ahead, Sheena. Let me hear this.
You know how we like to write, and we into books and magazines and stuff. What if we put out like a newsletter or a magazine just full of fake news stories, and we come up with this weird shit and come out with a weekly newsletter, but none of the stories be true, and we can just make up some
Then we
shit
would
like
be
they
half of
doing.
the tabloids in America.
Right? We can
Because
compete with
that's one
these
of the
shit.
things that's one of the things I have to do while I'm trying to find our current events, is I have to solidify the information that I'm finding so that we don't look like idiots up here giving fake news. So I have to check to make sure that these are actual things happening, because I did run across, I read across a story last week when I was looking about this lady saying she had the world's smallest giraffe. And I was so excited. It was like knee size. It like went up to your knees.
That's
And
fake
I
news.
was, man, I was all in it too. I was like, this is so cute. I want to buy one. Yeah, no, that's not real. It's not real. It was a stuffed animal giraffe.
Girl, because I can come
Um,
up with some stories that
oh
y'all can
yeah, me
compare to
too. You
these, and
know,
we can do like a trivia. Is this fake news or real news?
listen, we can add that to our podcast eventually. Like, hey, which story today was fake news?
Oh yeah, that'd be dope. We do like a
That
trivia.
would be a really good idea. Hey, we can't talk about podcast ideas on the podcast.
Oh my
Um,
bad.
because I forgot that that's what we were doing. It felt like we were in one of our little meetings for a moment there. But yeah, the woolly mammoth is a real thing that they were trying to recreate, which I don't know why they keep trying to bring back dinosaurs and animals that were super aggressive and really big. If we're going to try to bring something back, I say we bring back this little lizard, flying
Yeah.
lizard thing.
It kind of look
Hold
like the
on,
Geico lizard with wings.
they said it was 200 million years old. I don't know
Wow.
how they
Like,
know
how
that.
he
I don't know
know?
if they
I
asked
was
his
just about to
age.
say, how do they know that? Like, do they have like forensic time of death and back that far? Like,
You said forensic time of death like he was murdered. This poor lizard.
how you know? Like, he could have been like the T-Rex could have stepped on
Oh.
him.
I wonder if the T-Rex gets charged. I wonder who the police were back then.
Right. They're gonna charge the
Oh, that's
T-Rex
too
for killing
funny.
the dragon.
Okay, and listen, I'm going to attempt to say the name. I want you to know I practiced this
Yeah,
like 80 times
I'm
2
not
nights
even
ago.
gonna attempt.
I don't
KL.
even
I'm
know
gonna
if I
just gonna
can.
call him KL.
Cuneosaurus.
It sound like it's
Cuneosaurus.
made up.
Just a little mini dragon.
I want to be in charge of rewriting history.
Oh, listen, if you're going to rewrite history, can you make my great grandmother super famous so that maybe I'll get some money from it and I don't have to work? Thanks.
Yeah. I want to be the one that's like wants to decide which stories they're gonna delete from history. I'm gonna be the one that making up stories to add back in there.
And I would really like something that says unicorns and mermaids are real
Mhm.
because I really think that's important for the child imagination. You
Mhm.
know, if mermaids were real, even if they were real in the past while you're rewriting history, I really think that would make a lot of little girls be excited.
I want to make
Anyways,
the witches and vampires real.
witches are real in history. They were never like real as far as like really witches, but you know, there's that whole time period where they were burning witches at the stake. You know, and witches were like women that talked back or
Mhm. No,
or
I'm
had an
talking about like
opinion.
real. I'm gonna cast a spell and it's gonna come true, Richard. One that
Listen,
covered
but I've
the.
known witches like that my whole life. And I don't have you ever met a real live witch now, Sheena?
No. Do you know one?
For
Because I
real?
would like
I
to
do.
interview one.
I know a bunch actually.
Oh, for real?
There's a lot of people that practice that. Not to say it's like witchcraft, but there's a lot of people that practice some kind of like paganism or things like that. So they will do spells and money candles and success candles and things like that. But yeah, no, I know a few witches.
That's cool. Anyway, we getting
Um,
sidetracked again.
so yeah, last subject, guys.
Uh-huh.
And this one's kind of a doozy because I have mixed feelings about it. But you know about this Kenneth Smith guy?
No.
All right, so Kenneth Smith in 1988, he was hired to murder a pastor's wife. Well, he was charged, he was sentenced to the death penalty, and about 14 months ago in 2022, he was set to die by lethal injection, but they could not find a vein for the lethal injection, so he didn't die that day because, you know, welcome to America.
All these
But
RNs that we got graduating and they couldn't find one, but okay, go ahead.
right, because I feel like we could have just put it in his forehead. Like, why does it care what vein it goes into? It's a lethal injection. So there's a lot of controversy going on because Thursday night he was finally put to death, executed by nitrogen. And so what they did is they put a mask over his mouth, like over his face, and they pumped nitrogen in there to remove all his oxygen and kill him that way. Now, the controversy is people are saying that it was wrong to kill him that way because it's a slow and painful death versus the lethal injection, which is almost instant. And it's not that slow. He died within 60 seconds. So Can't be that slow. But the controversy is that people are saying that that's inhumane and nobody deserves that. I just want to halt there and be like, this man did murder someone. So he took their life with no
Yes,
regard to if it
like
was going to be painful.
it's not like he was a choir boy and we gave him a lethal injection. He got lethal injection because he took someone else's life.
Well,
So you
and he didn't
telling
get
because
lethal injection.
I
They
mean
didn't even hit him
like
with the
I mean yeah they killed him
nitrogen.
because he killed someone else. But so you're saying his 60 minutes, his 60 seconds of whatever pain he felt is more important than the life he took?
Well, and on top of that, like, man, let him suffer a little bit. He was hired to kill someone and did it.
Hmm.
So he can't suffer? Because if you
He
ask
knew
me, we should
exactly
get
what he was
nitrogen.
doing.
Right. He did. He was hired. So it wasn't like he was just doing it like he accidentally did it. He did that, he planned it out, and he got paid to do it.
Right.
And,
So
and in
that
my
those
opinion, we
few
should give
seconds.
nitrogen masks to every single child predator ever. Give them all nitrogen masks. Let them suffer for 60 seconds. I don't care.
So going back to why they couldn't find the vein, this because like I have a medical background, so I'm like, how is this possible? Even I know people have rolling veins, some people have disappearing,
But
but
you
you
can
can't
still
find
find
it.
them.
Yeah, you can still find them, even if they dehydrated. Give them a bottle of water; it's gonna plop back up. So
Yeah, like,
why?
you can literally see my veins right here in my arms.
Like
Like, it
this,
can't be that
this
hard to
is
find.
this makes no sense. Like you didn't have anyone on staff in the government facility that could to give this needle. Like that makes absolutely no sense to me. Like you're
Well, I
fabricating something.
agree. And if we were just going to use the nitrogen, why didn't we just stab him in the heart with the needle? Like, does it really matter at that point?
Open your mouth. Let me put it in your the
Right,
blood
swallow it.
vessels. No, you can just hold it in. You have blood vessels in your mouth.
Oh, see, I didn't even
So
know that, but I don't have a medical
yeah,
background at all.
there's so many other ways. Like it's still like for them not to be able to find somebody to give him this needle is ridiculous all in itself. But the fact that you gave him nitric gas and it only took 60 seconds, I think it's a win-win still because he still got what he deserved. And those 60
Mhm.
seconds of pain he felt, to me, is not worth more than the innocent life he took.
And that's really how I felt. Um, I just didn't know, like, even on top of that, like, on top of that, it's like, y'all are worried about if this is inhumane or not. Like, how do you think that family felt when they went in to see the lethal injection? You know, like her kids or her sisters, or they went in to see that lethal injection and they came out and were like, never mind, we can't find the vein.
Right, they feel like they got robbed, like they didn't see their justice through.
You're right. And so, yeah, no, I think it's uber important that we did it somehow. And if nitrogen was the only way they could come up with because they couldn't find a vein, listen, go for it. Back in the day, they was using gas chambers and all kinds of crazy stuff. You know, they used to line you up and shoot you,
I
you
understand,
know?
like, what you wanted to do this? Go back to a bullet in the head or hanging?
Right, because then you're going to say that's inhumane also.
So they're gonna
You
talk
know,
talk
why do
about
we
it
have
some
to
kind of
act
way.
humanely to people who didn't act humanely towards the rest of the world?
Right.
They treated the rest of the world, you know, like a dog. We should treat them like a dog. And I don't
Well,
mean
if you
that in
get
any literal
convicted,
sense.
if you get convicted to death row and death by your crime, because you have to do a heinous crime to even get
Mm-hmm.
considered for lethal injection death or whatever. So if you did something that bad and you got convicted in a court of law of your peers for that, then how you die is irrelevant.
Right. Right. Absolutely. It is. It's completely irrelevant how you would die at that point. Honestly, I'm surprised he made it to death row because, and I don't know if y'all know this, but the prisons that these people that are sentenced to death go to are very, very dangerous prisons. A lot of them don't make it to their death date because they're killed by other prisoners in that prison. So he's lucky he even made it to that day. And this happened again in 1988. Y'all, I was 3 years old. I'm 38 now. So that's 35 years ago. He lived 35 more years than the pastor's wife would have, did.
Mm-hmm.
He got
He
35
grinded.
extra years. Yeah, he got a whole life when her life was taken by him. So when people are like, oh, this is inhumane, it's not inhumane. And if you think it's inhumane, then you go work in the prison system and change something. Because everything in the prison system's already messed up.
Right. Even
And
though
if
he
you think
was
the most
locked up for 35
inhumane
years,
thing
he
is
still
that,
was breathing.
right. So that's why I kind of brought that one to the table, because I don't understand what people are so mad at. It makes me want to shake people and be like, what is wrong with you?
Mm-hmm.
But it is what it is. That was the last topic that I had for today to discuss. Short and sweet is what Coffees with the Maria always is. But of course, we're going to leave you with a wormhole to dig if you're bored this morning and you want to listen to more other stuff. Because we talked a little bit about reptiles today in our podcast with our frozen gators and our flying dragon. I'm going to leave y'all with 2 words to go dig. Reptilian people. Go dig, go have a blast. And if you got questions, feel free to jump on one of our sites and ask us about it. That was my wormhole for the week, so it should be a little bit fun for y'all. And then we will see all of you tonight live at 8:00 for Yin Yang the podcast about 2-week notices.
Mm. That ought to be interesting.
I'm excited for that one, I'm not gonna lie. So we will see y'all later.
Bye.